Hey everyone, this is Ken Klippenstein with TYTI Investigates. I'm here with Zoltan Boka talking about Tiffany Caban's successful underdog progressive campaign. I wanted to get a sense of how did they pull it off? What does an underdog campaign look like? Good. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Oh, thanks so much. No problem.
Yeah. So could you describe to the audience kind of like what the nature of your work with them was before we launch into sort of how they managed to pull off this coup? Frankly, it was an
Well, what
amazing win.
happened was in the beginning, before her campaign, I worked with AOC, and that was really an organizing campaign. It was block by block, door by door, text by text. When I was working on it, I tried to get help from some people, some organizations, some electeds, and nobody wanted to have anything to do with us, which made it harder, but it also made it something where we could be more creative, and we could just kind of do our own thing. And that's kind of what we're doing, with Tiffany too.
That's interesting. So you're saying the institution's not helping you. That actually sort of benefited you guys.
It does, because, institutional help usually comes with strings. So, most people are not going to give you $100,000 because they love you so much, although if anybody
Right.
wants, I'm open to it. So it doesn't work that way. So without institutional help, you could kind of run your own show, and you
Yeah.
could experiment and test out ideas that you haven't done before, right? So we did a lot of door knocking, we did a lot of texting, and it was really just organizing, block by block, door by door, community group by community group, you know. And since people didn't know who she was, didn't know who Tiffany was, didn't know who AOC was, it gives you an ability to introduce yourself, an ability that I think someone like Melinda Katz doesn't have, you know. Being known kind of goes both ways. They know you, but they also kind of know you.
Right. Right. So you're saying these complicated algorithms and all of this micro targeting and all these fancy tech that this stuff doesn't work so well. I'm
I
shocked
mean,
to learn that.
listen, you can't use big data to paper over your candidate. So you can't use big data to introduce Donald Trump to the Latino community, right?
Right. Right.
He is who he is, and either you like what he's selling or you don't like it. But what big data can do, what it's useful for, I think, is to say, here are the blocks or the communities where they don't know who you are. Here are the blocks where this is important to them. Here are the blocks where these are the people who we should approach. From that perspective, I think it's great, right? But it's not a salesman tool. You can't sell a candidate. The candidate has to sell herself.
That's interesting. So this seems to suggest there are certain advantages that these sort of underdog progressive candidates might have electorally, because a lot of people come into this sort of cynical, like, oh, they don't have all this big money. How are they going to pull it off?
Right.
But it sounds like they have things they can do that a lot of other candidates who are maybe more
Do
beholden
a lot
to.
of, I think the mood in this country, I went to the 2016 Democratic Convention and I tried telling them I was not popular. I tried telling them that the next president is going to be Bernie or Trump. And they should just pick one and let me know which one interests them. This, as you can imagine, this didn't really go over well. I didn't get an applause for it. But the mood, on the ground, the mood in this country is that what we've been doing for the last 30, 40 years isn't working. Let's do something else, anything else. So when that's the mood, then having someone who you don't know who they are could be beneficial, right? Because if you want to do something else and you don't know who this person is, then maybe this person is that something else you've been looking for.
So what motivated you to kind of volunteer for? And I want to emphasize to everyone, he's not speaking on behalf of Caban. He's talking as someone who helped organize and volunteered his time. But it sounds like you had a lot of experience there.
And for me, this kind of started in 2016 with Bernie. I have a science background. I was working in a research environment, and I helped Bernie out a little bit. And his people sent me an email saying, come meet AOC. And I said, okay. And I met her, and it kind of just spiraled from there. Part of it was Bernie, and part of it was that I used to live in Jackson Heights, and Joe Crowley was my congressman. And Joe Crowley, because he basically lives in Virginia, was totally inaccessible. So it was like not having a congressman, honestly. And
Wow.
that was kind of things that pushed me into AOC's camp, and it kind of spiraled from there, you know.
So the origins of this whole thing were Crowley not being responsive to kind of basic stuff
Yeah,
that you wanted.
I have a disability, and I asked an institution for help, and they didn't do anything. So I went to Crowley's office because I got tired of them, and I said, I need you guys to help. And I just remember I went into the office, there was a secretary, and there was this young guy, like 30, 35 years old, and he was just bored out of his mind. As I was talking to him, I could just feel his eyes rolling to the back of his head. And I just, I'm not a people person to begin with, but I just started feeling like I hate and I don't care who you are. If you're city council or president, you don't want someone to develop that feeling of I hate your guts,
Right.
because that will go very badly. So I was okay, yeah, I hate his guts, so fine. That's not. I never met Crawley, but that was the impression I got.
It's quite an interesting origin story for your involvement in this, just directly. And I thought that was funny. Crowley eating shit on both Caban and AOC. It was almost like
he wasn't the president at all.
He wasn't what?
He wasn't the presence at all. He was totally an unknown. When I was canvassing for AOC, I never talked to anyone on the phone or in person who said to me, Crawley, Joe is my man. I love Joe, That never happened. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Did it feel like they came in prepared, expecting a fight from Caban?
I'm sorry, ask your question again.
Did it seem like they came in prepared for a fight with Caban, or
they?
did they not? The Crowley, the Dem leadership, kind of the big money.
No. No. I mean, look, they selected Melinda Katz. Melinda Katz has been in office since I was 13 years old. Okay. I'm no longer 13 years old, as you can tell. So, to have somebody like that, and again, in this environment, to try to sell them is a very difficult thing, because you look back on the last 27, 28 years and you ask, well, why are you doing this? What's the point? And I never felt that she had an answer to that,